Chapter 45. At this, Joseph could no longer control himself before all his attendants. So he cried out,
"Have everyone leave me."
No one else stayed with him, while Joseph made himself known to his brothers. Then he began to weep so loudly that the Egyptians heard it, and Pharaoh's house heard it. Finally Joseph said to his brothers,
"I am Joseph. Is my father still alive?"
But his brothers were unable to answer him at all, because they were astonished on account of him. So Joseph said to his brothers,
"Come close to me, please."
With that, they came close to him. Then he said,
"I am Joseph, your brother, whom you sold into Egypt. But now do not be upset, and do not reproach one another because you sold me here, because God has sent me ahead of you for the preservation of life. This is the 2nd year of the famine in the land, and there are yet 5 years in which there will be no plowing or harvest. But God sent me ahead of you in order to preserve for you a remnant on the earth, and to keep you alive by a great deliverance. So then, it was not you who sent me here, but it was the true God, in order to appoint me as chief adviser to Pharaoh, and lord for all his house, and ruler over all the land of Egypt. Return quickly to my father, and you must say to him, 'This is what your son Joseph has said. God has appointed me lord over all Egypt. Come down to me. Do not delay. You must dwell in the land of Goshen, where you will be near me, you, your sons, your grandsons, your flocks, your herds, and everything you have. I will supply you with food there, for there are yet 5 years of famine. Otherwise, you and your house and everything you have will come to poverty. You and my brother Benjamin can now see with your own eyes that I am really the one speaking to you. So you must tell my father about all my glory in Egypt and everything you have seen. Now hurry and bring my father down here."
Then he embraced his brother Benjamin and gave way to weeping, and Benjamin wept with his arms around his neck. And he kissed all his brothers and wept over them, and after that his brothers spoke with him. The news reached the house of Pharaoh.
"Joseph's brothers have come."
It was good in the eyes of Pharaoh and his servants. So Pharaoh said to Joseph,
"Tell your brothers, do this. Load your beasts of burden and go to the land of Canaan, and take your father and your households and come here to me. I will give you the good things of the land of Egypt, and you will eat the richest part of the land. And you are commanded to tell them, do this. Take wagons from the land of Egypt for your children and your wives, and you must bring your father on one of them and come here. Do not worry about your belongings, for the best of all the land of Egypt is yours."
And the sons of Israel did so, and Joseph gave them wagons according to Pharaoh's orders, and he gave them provisions for the journey. To each of them he gave individual changes of clothing, but to Benjamin he gave 300 silver pieces and 5 changes of clothing. And to his father he sent the following: 10 donkeys carrying good things of Egypt, and 10 female donkeys carrying grain and bread and sustenance for his father for the journey. So he sent his brothers off, and as they departed, he said to them,
"Do not become upset with one another on the way."
Then they went up from Egypt, and came into the land of Canaan to their father Jacob. Then they reported to him,
"Joseph is still alive, and he is the ruler over all the land of Egypt."
But his heart grew numb, because he did not believe them. When they went on telling him all the words that Joseph had spoken to them, and when he saw the wagons that Joseph had sent to carry him, the spirit of their father Jacob began to revive. Israel exclaimed,
"It is enough. My son Joseph is still alive.
I must go and see him before I die.
Chapter 46. So Israel took all that he had and departed. When he arrived at Beersheba, he offered sacrifices to the God of his father Isaac. Then God spoke to Israel in a vision by night and said, "Jacob, Jacob." To which he said,
Here I am.
He said, "I am the true God, the God of your father. Do not be afraid to go down to Egypt, for there I will make you into a great nation. I myself will go down with you to Egypt, and I myself will also bring you back from there, and Joseph will lay his hand on your eyes." After that, Jacob departed from Beersheba, and the sons of Israel transported Jacob their father, and their children and their wives, in the wagons that Pharaoh had sent to transport him. They took along their herds and their goods, which they had accumulated in the land of Canaan. And so they came into Egypt, Jacob and all his offspring with him. He brought with him into Egypt his sons and his grandsons, his daughters and his granddaughters, all his offspring. Now these are the names of Israel's sons who came into Egypt, Jacob and his sons. Jacob's firstborn was Reuben. The sons of Reuben were Hanoch, Palu, Hezron, and Carmi. The sons of Simeon were Jemuel, Jamin, Ohad, Jachin, Zohar, and Shael, the son of a Canaanite woman. The sons of Levi were Gershon, Kohath, and Merari. The sons of Judah were Onan, Shelah, Perez, and Zerah. However, and Onan died in the land of Canaan. The sons of Perez came to be Hezron and Hamul. The sons of Issachar were Tola, Puvah, Yob, and Shimron. The sons of Zebulun were Sered, Elon, and Jaliel. These are the sons of Leah, whom she bore to Jacob in Paddan Aram, together with his daughter Dinah. All his sons and his daughters numbered 33. The sons of Gad were Ziphion, Haggai, Shunai, Esbon, Eri, Arodai, and Areli. The sons of Asher were Imnah, Ishva, Ishvi, and Beriah, and their sister was Serah. The sons of Beriah were Heber and Malchiel. These are the sons of Zilpah, whom Laban gave to his daughter Leah. She bore these to Jacob, 16 persons in all. The sons of Jacob's wife Rachel were Joseph and Benjamin. There were born to Joseph in the land of Egypt Manasseh and Ephraim, whom Asenath, the daughter of Potiphera, the priest of On, bore to him. The sons of Benjamin were Bela, Becher, Ashbel, Gera, Naaman, Ehi, Rosh, Muppim, Huppim, and Ard. These are the sons of Rachel, who were born to Jacob, 14 persons in all. The son of Dan was Hushim. The sons of Naphtali were Jaziel, Guni, Jezer, and Shillem. These are the sons of Bilhah, whom Laban gave to his daughter Rachel. She bore these to Jacob, 7 persons in all. All those who descended from Jacob and went into Egypt with him, aside from the wives of Jacob's sons, were 66. Joseph's sons, who were born to him in Egypt, were 2. All the people of the house of Jacob, who came into Egypt, were 70. Jacob sent Judah ahead to tell Joseph that he was on the way to Goshen. When they came into the land of Goshen, Joseph had his chariot prepared and went up to meet Israel his father at Goshen. When he presented himself to him, he at once embraced him and wept for some time. Then Israel said to Joseph,
Now I am ready to die. I have seen your face and know that you are still alive.
Joseph then said to his brothers and to his father's household,
Let me go up and report to Pharaoh and tell him, My brothers and my father's household who are in the land of Canaan have come here to me. The men are shepherds, and they raise livestock, and they have brought their flocks and their herds and all that they have. When Pharaoh calls you and asks, What is your occupation? You must say, Your servants have raised livestock from our youth until now, both we and our forefathers, so that you may dwell in the land of Goshen. For every herder of sheep is detestable to the Egyptians.
Chapter 47. So Joseph went and reported to Pharaoh,
My father and my brothers and their flocks and their herds and all that they possess have come from the land of Canaan, and they are in the land of Goshen.
He took 5 of his brothers and presented them to Pharaoh. Pharaoh said to his brothers,
What is your occupation?
They replied to Pharaoh,
Your servants are herders of sheep, both we and our forefathers.
Then they said to Pharaoh,
We have come to reside as foreigners in the land, because there are no pastures for the flock of your servants, for the famine is severe in the land of Canaan. So please let your servants dwell in the land of Goshen.
At that Pharaoh said to Joseph,
Your father and your brothers have come here to you. The land of Egypt is at your disposal. Have your father and your brothers dwell in the very best part of the land. Let them dwell in the land of Goshen. And if you know of any capable men among them, put them in charge of my livestock.
Then Joseph brought in Jacob his father, and presented him to Pharaoh. And Jacob blessed Pharaoh. Pharaoh asked Jacob,
How old are you?
Jacob said to Pharaoh,
The years of my wanderings are 130. Few and distressing the years of my life have been, and they are not as long as the years of the lives of my forefathers during their wanderings.
After that, Jacob blessed Pharaoh and went out from before him. So Joseph saddled his father and his brothers, and he gave them a possession in the land of Egypt, in the very best part of the land, in the land of Ramesses, just as Pharaoh had commanded. And Joseph kept supplying his father and his brothers and the entire household of his father with food, according to the number of their children. Now there was no food in all the land, because the famine was very severe, and the land of Egypt and the land of Canaan became exhausted as a result of the famine. Joseph was collecting all the money that was to be found in the land of Egypt and in the land of Canaan for the grain that people were buying, and Joseph kept bringing the money into Pharaoh's house. In time the money from the land of Egypt and the land of Canaan was spent, and all the Egyptians began coming to Joseph, saying,
Give us food. Why should we die before your very eyes because our money has run out?
Then Joseph said,
If your money has run out, hand over your livestock, and I will give you food in exchange for your livestock.
So they began bringing their livestock to Joseph, and Joseph kept giving them food in exchange for their horses, the livestock of the flock and of the herd, and the donkeys, and he kept providing them with food in exchange for all their livestock during that year. When that year came to its close, they began coming to him the next year and saying,
We will not hide from my lord that the money and the stock of domestic animals have already been given to my lord. We have nothing left for my lord but our bodies and our land.
Why should we die before your eyes, both we and our land? Buy us and our land in exchange for food, and we together with our land will become slaves to Pharaoh. Give us seed so that we may live and not die, and that our land may not become desolate.
Joseph then bought all the land of the Egyptians for Pharaoh, because every Egyptian sold his field, for the famine was very severe, and the land became Pharaoh's. Then he moved the people into cities, from one end of the territory of Egypt to its other end. Only the land of the priests he did not buy, because the rations for the priests were from Pharaoh, and they lived on their rations that Pharaoh gave them. That is why they did not sell their land. Then Joseph said to the people,
See, I have today bought you and your land for Pharaoh. Here is seed for you, and you must sow the land with it. When it produces, give a fifth to Pharaoh, but 4 parts will be yours, as seed for the field, and as food for you and for those in your houses and for your children to eat.
So they said,
You have preserved our lives. Let us find favor in the eyes of my Lord, and we will become slaves to Pharaoh.
Then Joseph made it a decree, which is valid until today over the land of Egypt, that a fifth belongs to Pharaoh. It was only the land of the priests that did not become Pharaoh's. Israel continued to dwell in the land of Egypt, in the land of Goshen, and they settled in it, and were fruitful and increased greatly. And Jacob lived on in the land of Egypt for 17 years, so that the days of Jacob's life came to be 147 years. The time was approaching for Israel to die, so he called his son Joseph and said,
If now I have found favor in your eyes, place your hand, please, under my thigh, and show loyal love and faithfulness to me. Please, do not bury me in Egypt. When I die, you must carry me out of Egypt and bury me in the grave of my forefathers.
Accordingly, he said,
I will do just as you say.
Then he said,
Swear to me.
So he swore to him. At that Israel bowed down at the head of his bed. Chapter 48. After these things, Joseph was told,
Look, your father is getting weak.
At that, he took his 2 sons Manasseh and Ephraim with him. Then Jacob was told,
Here, your son Joseph has come to you.
So Israel gathered his strength and sat up on his bed. And Jacob said to Joseph,
God Almighty appeared to me at Luz, in the land of Canaan, and blessed me. And he said to me, I am making you fruitful, and I will make you many, and I will transform you into a congregation of peoples, and I will give this land to your offspring after you as a lasting possession. Now your 2 sons, who were born to you in the land of Egypt, before I came to you in Egypt, are mine. Ephraim and Manasseh will become mine, just as Reuben and Simeon are mine. But the children born to you after them will become yours. They will be called by the name of their brothers in their inheritance. As for me, when I was coming from Paddan, Rachel died alongside me in the land of Canaan, while there was yet a good stretch of land before coming to Ephrath. So I buried her there on the way to Ephrath, that is, Bethlehem.
Then Israel saw Joseph's sons and asked,
Who are these?
So Joseph said to his father,
They are my sons, whom God has given me in this place.
At this he said,
Bring them to me, please, so that I may bless them.
Now the eyes of Israel were failing from age, and he was unable to see. So Joseph brought them close to him, and he kissed them and embraced them. Israel said to Joseph,
I never imagined I would see your face, but here God has also let me see your offspring.
Joseph then removed them from Israel's knees, and he bowed down with his face to the ground. Joseph now took the 2 of them, Ephraim with his right hand to Israel's left, and Manasseh with his left hand to Israel's right, and brought them close to him. However, Israel put out his right hand and placed it on Ephraim's head, although he was the younger, and he placed his left hand on Manasseh's head. He purposely laid his hands this way, since Manasseh was the firstborn. Then he blessed Joseph and said,
"The true God, before whom my fathers Abraham and Isaac walked, the true God who has been shepherding me during all my life until this day, the angel who has been recovering me from all calamity, bless the boys. Let my name be called upon them, and the name of my fathers, Abraham and Isaac. Let them increase to a multitude in the earth."
When Joseph saw that his father kept his right hand placed on Ephraim's head, it was displeasing to him. So he tried to take hold of his father's hand to move it from Ephraim's head to Manasseh's head. Joseph said to his father,
"Not so, my father, because this is the firstborn. Put your right hand on his head."
But his father kept refusing and said,
"I know it, my son, I know it. He too will become a people, and he too will become great. Nevertheless, his younger brother will become greater than he will, and his offspring will become the full equivalent of nations."
So he continued to bless them on that day, saying,
"Let Israel mention you when they pronounce blessings, saying, 'May God make you like Ephraim and like Manasseh.'"
Thus he kept putting Ephraim before Manasseh. Then Israel said to Joseph,
"Look, I am dying, but God will certainly continue with you and return you to the land of your forefathers. As for me, I do give you one portion of land more than to your brothers, which I took from the hand of the Amorites with my sword and my bow."
Chapter 49. And Jacob called his sons and said,
"Gather yourselves together, that I may tell you what will happen to you in the final part of the days. Assemble yourselves and listen, you sons of Jacob. Yes, listen to Israel your father. Reuben, you are my firstborn, my vigor and the beginning of my procreative power, the excellence of dignity and the excellence of strength. With recklessness like turbulent waters, you will not excel, because you have gone up to your father's bed. At that time you defiled my bed. He actually went onto it. Simeon and Levi are brothers. Instruments of violence are their slaughter weapons. Into their company do not come, O my soul. With their assembly do not join, O my honor, because in their anger they killed men, and for their pleasure they hamstrung bulls. Cursed be their anger, because it is cruel, and their fury, because it is harsh. Let me disperse them in Jacob, and let me scatter them in Israel. As for you, Judah, your brothers will praise you. Your hand will be on the neck of your enemies. The sons of your father will bow down before you. Judah is a lion cub. From the prey, my son, you will certainly go up. He has crouched down and stretched himself out like a lion, and like a lion, who dares rouse him? The scepter will not depart from Judah, neither the commander's staff from between his feet, until Shiloh comes, and to him the obedience of the peoples will belong. tying his donkey to a vine, and his donkey's colt to a choice vine. He will wash his clothing in wine, and his garment in the blood of grapes. Dark red are his eyes from wine, and his teeth are white from milk. Zebulun will reside by the seashore, by the shore where the ships lie anchored, and his remote border will be towards Sidon. Issachar is a strong-boned donkey, lying down between the two saddlebags, and he will see that the resting place is good, and that the land is pleasant. He will bend his shoulder to bear the burden, and will submit to forced labor. Dan will judge his people as one of the tribes of Israel. Let Dan be a serpent by the roadside, a horned snake beside the path, that bites the heels of the horse, so that its rider falls backward. I will wait for salvation from you, O Jehovah. As for Gad, a marauder band will raid him, but he will raid at their heels. Asher's bread will be abundant, and he will provide food fit for a king. Naphtali is a slender doe. He is speaking words of elegance. Joseph is the offshoot of a fruitful tree by a spring, whose branches extend over the wall. But the archers kept harassing him and shot at him and kept harboring animosity against him. And yet his bow remained in place, and his hands stayed strong and agile. This was from the hands of the powerful one of Jacob, from the shepherd, the stone of Israel. He is from the God of your father, and he will help you. And he is with the Almighty, and he will bless you with the blessings of the heavens above, with the blessings of the deep below, with the blessings of the breasts and womb. The blessings of your father will be superior to the blessings of the eternal mountains, to the desirable things of the enduring hills. They will continue upon the head of Joseph, upon the crown of the head of the one singled out from his brothers. Benjamin will keep on tearing like a wolf. In the morning he will eat the prey, and in the evening he will divide spoil.
All of these are the 12 tribes of Israel, and this is what their father said to them when he was blessing them. He gave each of them an appropriate blessing. After that, he gave these commands to them.
I am being gathered to my people. Bury me with my fathers in the cave that is in the field of Ephron the Hittite, the cave in the field of Machpelah, in front of Mamre in the land of Canaan, the field that Abraham purchased from Ephron the Hittite, as a property for a burial place. There they buried Abraham and his wife Sarah. There they buried Isaac and his wife Rebekah. And there I buried Leah. The field and the cave that is in it were purchased from the sons of Heth.
Thus Jacob finished giving these instructions to his sons. Then he drew his feet up onto the bed and breathed his last and was gathered to his people. Chapter 50. Joseph then threw himself on his father and wept over him and kissed him. After that, Joseph commanded his servants, the physicians, to embalm his father. So the physicians embalmed Israel, and they took the full 40 days for him, for this is the full period for the embalming, and the Egyptians continued to shed tears for him 70 days. When the days of mourning for him passed, Joseph spoke to Pharaoh's court, saying,
If I have found favor in your eyes, give this message to Pharaoh. My father made me swear, saying, Look, I am dying. You are to bury me in my burial place, which I have excavated in the land of Canaan. Please, let me go up and bury my father, after which I will return.
Pharaoh replied,
Go and bury your father, just as he made you swear.
So Joseph went up to bury his father, and all of Pharaoh's servants went with him, the elders of his court, and all the elders of the land of Egypt, and all of Joseph's household, and his brothers, and the household of his father. Only their little children and their flocks and their herds they left in the land of Goshen. Chariots and horsemen also went up with him, and the camp was very numerous. Then they came to the threshing floor of Atad, which is in the region of the Jordan, and there they carried on a very great and bitter mourning, and he kept mourning for his father 7 days. The inhabitants of the land, the Canaanites, saw them mourning at the threshing floor of Atad, and they exclaimed,
This is a great mourning for the Egyptians.
That is why it was named Abel Mizraim, which is in the region of the Jordan. So his sons did for him exactly as he had instructed them. His sons carried him into the land of Canaan, and buried him in the cave of the field of Machpelah, the field in front of Mamre, that Abraham had purchased from Ephron the Hittite, as property for a burial place. After he buried his father, Joseph returned to Egypt with his brothers and all those who had gone with him to bury his father. When Joseph's brothers saw that their father was dead, they said,
It may be that Joseph is harboring animosity against us, and that he will repay us for all the evil that we did to him.
So they sent a message to Joseph in these words,
Your father gave this command before his death. This is what you are to say to Joseph. I beg you, please pardon the transgression of your brothers and the sin they committed in bringing such harm to you. Now, please pardon the transgression of the servants of your father's God.
And Joseph wept when they spoke to him. Then his brothers also came and fell down before him and said,
Here we are, as slaves to you.
Joseph said to them,
Do not be afraid. Am I in the place of God? Although you meant to harm me, God intended it to turn out well and to preserve many people alive, as he is doing today. So now do not be afraid. I will keep supplying you and your little children with food.
Thus he comforted them and spoke reassuringly to them. And Joseph continued to dwell in Egypt, he and the household of his father, and Joseph lived for 110 years. Joseph saw the third generation of Ephraim's sons, also the sons of Machir, Manasseh's son. They were born upon Joseph's knees. At length Joseph said to his brothers,
I am dying, but God will without fail turn his attention to you, and he will certainly bring you up out of this land, to the land about which he swore, to Abraham, to Isaac, and to Jacob.
So Joseph made the sons of Israel swear, saying,
God will without fail turn his attention to you. You must take my bones up out of here.
And Joseph died at the age of 110, and they had him embalmed, and he was put in a coffin in Egypt.